So this was the first field test using the ISCO Ultrastar CinemaScope anamorphic lens on the 5D Mark II and the 85mm f1.8 prime lens as the taking lens. Now the challenge here was really the weather. It was extremely hot, looking at about 38 degrees, midday sun, no shade, no wind, and lots of flies. So it was a real difficult environment to shoot in. And having to focus both the prime lens and the anamorphic lens independently just made things that little bit more tricky. I didn't take the Lilliput monitor, field monitor, which was a big mistake. I did take an LCD viewfinder, but that just kept on fogging up. So I had to use the back of the LCD screen as it is, and that was a bit of a problem because of the glare. So there's a couple of things, a couple of lessons definitely learnt during this shoot. Secondly, there was occasional slippage of the anamorphic lens from the taking lens. The adapter came loose a few times, and that really happened when I was having to move the tripod from area to area. So I had to keep tightening that up and making sure that it was flush, otherwise it would have skewered the image. Another problem I kind of ran into during the shoot was the filter clamp for the ISCO, the Vid-Atlantic filter clamp. I had left, for some strange reason, I'd left that at home. So it meant that I had to actually hold the neutral density filters in front of the lens by hand. Now that doesn't make things easier either. With shooting in the heat, we're having to focus things independently, and then we're having to hold with your free hand a filter whilst panning and tilting. So again, a couple of lessons learnt there. But overall, the footage that I managed to capture, I was really pleased with. I am really surprised with the sharpness and the quality of the anamorphic lens. It is very good right to the corners. I mean, granted, there is a little bit of vignetting, especially when we try and go really wide. We do see a slight amount of vignetting on the corners, and there is a little bit of blur, a vertical blur in the corners, but you know, that is the look of anamorphic. It adds to the whole look, and it works. So I was shooting with the, like I said, with the 5D Mark II. It was 1080p all the way. It was 50 frames per second. We were shooting at really high apertures, obviously, to get the narrow depth of field, and obviously with the neutral density filters, it did allow me to get shallower shots as and when I needed them. It was the cine style, picture style that we used for the shoot, and I just had a Manfrotto tripod with a 701 video head. Now that video head is a good head, however the fact that it doesn't have a bowl adapter made again things a little bit tricky, because if I wanted to change the height, it'd have to be done by the legs to make sure that the head was level. If I had a bowl adapter, it would just be adjusting the bowl, and that would ensure that I've got a nice level head. So, and that would have made things a lot easier. So in the future, I think I'm going to have to invest in that, especially if I'm going to be shooting in these kind of environments. But overall, it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, it was extremely hot, so I was only out there for about, I think, half an hour, and that did mean I had to rush a little bit and didn't get as many shots as I would have liked to have got. But all in all, it was a good day. There were a couple of other things that I ran into, and that was the 5D Mark II overheated, I think, once or twice. The physical heat as well, I think, had some impact on the 5D, and it's never ever done that before. So I'm putting it down to the weather rather than a problem with the camera. I think the heat just had a bearing on the 5D. But anyway, this is just a little behind the scenes. I shot most of this, well, all of this behind the scenes video with the GoPro. Just had it on the chesty strap and just set that off recording. Now, one thing I did want to mention is when you get into a location like this, or any location for that matter, if it is fairly enclosed and you're not having to travel too far, as this was, it was this old village, abandoned fishing village, and it was fairly closed in. it's a really good practice to actually recon the place first. Go for a little walk rather than trying to shoot the first thing that you see that might look good. Go for a little walk, make some mental notes, see the potential of the area. That way, you're not really going to miss any of the really good spots. If I would have spent half an hour in one area, then I wouldn't have had the opportunity to find the other areas. So, you know, do a little recon. You can always come back to your spots and then get your shots. Hopefully you've enjoyed this little behind the scenes video. It is very rough and ready. I kind of like saw this as an after sight really, and I just thought it'd be interesting for you guys to see the environment. It was spooky, it really was. It was deadly silent. There was nothing there. There was nobody there. It was really, really quiet. But you're in the middle of the desert, and it was just everywhere you looked it was desert. It was weird, but again, it was good. So that's it really. I will be doing another video on how I went about the editing stage, so you know, getting the anamorphic footage and how we get that into the correct aspect ratio. I'll do a short video on that in the next one. So if you've not checked out the finished version of the fishing village, then make sure to do that, and I'll catch you next time.